All right, let's do this. Welcome to another day of math class with your host, Mr. Breek. That is myself. Today we're going to be doing 6.1 properties of exponents. You guys maybe know what an exponent is. Today we're going to learn a lot of cool stuff about them. Honestly, if I'm being completely truthful, I kind of think that this section is maybe one of my favorites in all of math because it looks, by the time we get to the end of the problems, they look like they're crazy tough, but then they're actually just super easy. Okay? So, hopefully the I can statement is that we can solve using the properties of those exponents. And then we got a bunch of important math standards that we're going to be covering today. Okay? So let's follow along. Let's get right into it. Hopefully by the time we get to that quiz time, we're going to be at a 3 or 4. We'll probably spend 3 days of my lessons just on this 6.1 quiz. 6.1 section. Okay? So before we begin, there's a couple vocab words. I'm just going to highlight those. I'll go fast through this just so you can pause and write them down. But the power is the entire expression. The exponent is the little tiny number up top there, little tiny number. And then the base is that other number, right? So example, if I had 8 to the 17th power, this right here is my exponent, this right here is my base. Okay? Scientific notation, we're going to skip that, but that's kind of a way where you can write really big numbers in shorter and easier ways. But yeah, it's a super important one, but we're just going to not make time for that one. All right, right here is a big fancy math stuff for it. I'll just quick write that down. You can pause it. I'm not going to talk about this in detail because I wanted to show you examples. I think that's the easier way. But anyways, if you multiply powers, what you're going to have to do is you're going to end up adding them. So it's going to be m plus n. Okay? So for this example, 3 squared times 3 to the 7th, it's super easy. It's 3 to the 9th. No big deal. Okay? Finding the power to the power, that's the second one right here in green that I'm underlining. When you have a power, m, raised to the power n, we're going to multiply those. So that's an m times an n. So example right here, 5 squared raised to the 4th is going to be 5 to the 2 times 4, which is 8. Not any big deal. Okay? And finding the power of a product. Really what happens is this m is going to kind of be distributed to both things. So it's really going to be a to the m, and then also you got that times b to the m. Okay? So really on this one it's going to be 2 to the 6th times 3 to the 6th. Okay? I'm not going to spend much more time on that because I think you'll get it pretty darn good when I start showing some examples. Is that okay with you, Austin? All right, let's get going then, all right? So, example, the product of a power. Product means multiply. So when I'm multiplying powers, I just add them, all right? I'm going to zoom through these. 3 to the 8th, 5 to the 11th, and x to the 9. All right, let's go back. How the heck did I get that so fast? No, I'm not a mathematical genius, but I just see the patterns. 8, I got that from doing 2 plus 6. And 11, I got that doing from a 10, plus really there's a 1 there, right? So whenever you don't see anything, there's a 1. And this one is going to be 3 plus 5, which is 8, plus the 1, which is 9. Okay? So hopefully you're kind of following along with those ones. And it's looking, fairly simple because really that's what this first part is. So let's take a look at those, a couple try-its. I'm just going to zoom through those. Gino, you got an answer for me on number 1? It's going to be 10 to the 10th. 10 to 10. All right. Chase, how about you? X to the, you're going to do 9 plus 8 plus 4. 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 4 is x to the 21. And our last one, let's see who wants to answer. Kaden, you got this one. Hey, even though I have negatives, I still have just a negative 4, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So that would be my final answer on that one. Okay? Super pretty quick and easy. That is the first of the three things that we're looking at today. That one is called, as a reminder, product of a power. Okay? Now take a look on that one. You saw the 3 thing twice, or you saw the 5 twice. Right? There was the same base. There's x times x times x on that one, right? When we go to the next one, which is the power of a power, you see on letter A that you only see the x thing once. Okay, you got to see the difference between that one and one from the previous section would look like this. They're not the same. Okay? This answer in red would be x to the 6th. This answer in green here is going to be x to the 8th. Now, it's not super complicated, but how did I get those two? Well, on the red example, I added. Right? 2 plus 4, give me 6. No big deal, right? Alexandra, what's 2 times 4? Oh, it's 8. That's why I got 8 right there. Okay? So, let me explain the reason on why that one is the way it is. Okay? Actually, let me go back up and look at this. Let me do this x. No, I'm going to make up a smaller example. Let's say, pretend I had x squared times x to the 3rd. This is an example from the top ones. The answer is x to the 5th. Now, if you wanted to, you could rewrite this x squared as x times x. Right? Makes sense to me. And you could write this bottom thing as x times x times x. I'm no rocket science, but how many x's do you see on the bottom? I see 5, right? And that's why we have x to the 5th right there. So understand that concept for the top one, because the same idea is to work on this letter A, B, C, all these ones in this next style. Okay? I'm going to I'll leave that example up there. If I had this, what that really means is I have x squared 4 times. Anyone see that? Because it says 4 right there. So I have x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared. And if we do the same exact thing that I did in red down here on the bottom, well, that really means that's x times x. That one's x times x. That one's x times x. And that one's x times x. How many x's do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 8. Okay? Now, yes, you can do every single problem like this if you want. But us mathematicians, like I said, we like shortcuts. We don't like to do a lot of work when we don't have to. So let's go back up to this original problem and just look at it. How can you get 8 from those numbers? Well, I just multiply 2 times 4, and so that's going to be the answer in one quick and easy way. So just take a look at and refresh yourselves the difference between that one and this one, right? I'm gonna erase it. We're gonna move on real fast now, but that's the reason I like these. Letter B, right? What do we got? We got 2 to the 5 times 2, 2 to the 10th. Sweet. There's the answer. On this one, gotta be a little bit careful because if you see that negative, there's a difference between the negative out there and a negative in here. Those would be 2 different answers. So you got to see the difference between that one and this one on the inside, right? It's on the outside, we kind of do it last. And so this one I'm going to do that piece of information first, which is going to be 3 to the 6th power. And then that negative sign right here is just going to kind of follow me down and give me a negative. Okay? Now, on your calculator, you could take 2 to the 10th power and get the number. We'll eventually do that. I just want right now just to get the habit and get the hang of using the official exponent rule. So that's why I'm not kind of going in a little bit more detail on that. But so you can leave your answer for right now as that. Okay? All right, let's quick try those try-its here. Not too shabby. This is going pretty smoothly in my opinion. Kyle, what do you think for number 1 there? It's a power raised to the power, so that's going to be a multiply, which is going to be y to the 24th. This one right here has a negative. I'm going to watch out for that, and I'm just going to do that part first. 4 to the 3 times 3 is 4 to the 9th. And then afterwards, that negative sign is just going to follow me down. There it is. And last but not least, who wants to volunteer for this one? Ava Fredrickson, I hear you. All right, x to the, what's 8 plus 5, Ava? Nice job. It is 13. Math superstar right there. Okay, so we're moving on pretty good. That's the first 2 concepts. And now we have, what is it? The power of a product. Oh man, you're killing me. 3 things in the same day? Yeah, this one's kind of just a combo of both those, all right? And so, like I said, I'm just going to go through these real fast. I'm going to just write the answers to A, B, and C down, and we'll see if you can get it. Remember, letter A, 3 to the 4th, y to the 4th. Letter B, 4 squared, x to the 6th. And letter C is, I'll put it in parentheses, negative 5 squared, x to the 8th, y to the 10th. That's a 10, not a 16. Get used to my writing. All right. So here we go. How did I get those 3 answers so quick? Simple. I just added or multiplied because that's what we're doing. And so on these power of a product, really what happens is it's kind of, if you want to think, it distributes out to each term. And so we just apply the same rules. So this one I had 3 terms, so it just went to all 3 things, right? Now, I wouldn't leave my answer like those, like I said, with these numbers, but I just wanted to show you the pattern first, okay? I guess might as well talk about it right now. What I would do if I had something like that is, now since they're small numbers, 3 raised to the 4th, is I would just take that on my calculator, and I'm going to get 81 y to the 4th. That's our final answer. And 4 squared, hopefully you know that one. Don't say 8. Right, Olivia? It's 4 times 4, which is 16, x to the 6th. Over here, you got to be careful. It's negative 5 times negative 5, which gives us positive 25, x to the 8th, y to the 10th. Those would be my true final answers. Okay, 100% all around. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let's move on to the next 3. Because they look a little bit scarier. There's a lot of numbers. Well, in my mind, really I just know that it's going to apply to each and everything. Okay? I'll write it out like this, but eventually when we get better at it, it's going to be w to the 6th to the 3rd, and I'll throw that in parentheses to y to the 3rd, right? Really that's what happens. I would not do this once you kind of get comfortable, but I just want to explain it a little bit more in detail so you see that. This is going to be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which gives me the whole number negative 8, the integer negative 8. This is going to be w to the 6 times 3, which is 18. And this is going to be y to the 3. You know, really there's a 1 right here if you want to think about it. So 1 times 3 is 3. And that's my final answer. Nice, colorful, circled answer for you. All right? If, let's say you were wondering about, hey, how do I write negative 2 to the 3rd on my calculator? Well, there's 2 kind of ways that I would recommend it. I mean, you can actually, if you're using a calculator, you could do negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, right? And you're going to get 4 times that negative 2 gives you negative 8, right? The faster and easier way was I would use the button on your calculator that looks like a little caret, kind of looks like that. And so what I would do is I make sure it's in parentheses when it's negative, but I would do negative 2 in parentheses, caret to the 3rd, and press equals on my calculator. Those are just buttons, right? And And that's how I would solve that one. Okay? All right. Letter E. I'm going to, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to kind of ignore that plus, or ignore that negative sign there. Just cancel it out. We're just going to call this letter E. There we go. All right. Shayla, I haven't called on you yet. So first thing you're going to do when you see this is what? If you said we're going to distribute that 2, your answer is right. Okay? Now, I happen to know what 6 squared is in my head because I'm super smart like that. It's 6 times 6 is 36. These ones, they're tiny answers. You can feel free to just show write your answer down. There's not much work to be shown there. Okay? X to the 7th squared, that's what that would look like if it was a single problem. We would know to multiply those. And so in the same way, when we color code this, it's going to be x to the 14th. And hopefully you're all answering in your head what y is. It would be y to the 6th. 3 times 2. Okay? That colorful answer right there is my final answer. All right? 4 looks weird. They just try to trick you. It's really just 4 squared times 3 squared. Right? 4 squared is going to be 16. 3 squared is 9. Anybody know what 16 times 9 is? It's 144. Now, that's the right answer. You could also do this. Remember PEMDAS? Remember that? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Why couldn't I just done that first, Mr. Beek? Well, you could have. What's 4 times 3? That's just 12, right? And so you have 12 squared. Guess what that is? It's 144. So as long as you're doing correct mathematical steps, there's a lot of different ways that you can, arrive at that right answer. Okay? All right, we're in the final stretch. I think these are the last couple examples. Example 4, we're plugging in all 3 of those things that I just talked about and smushing them together. Okay? The question will say simplify. That, there's probably a fancy mathematical word for it. I just mean, answer it. Get the smallest answer. All right, so first off, we're going to look at this big piece there. No big deal. We would know that that's 2 is going to go to every deal there, right? So it's going to be 7 squared, which is 49. It's going to be w to the 2 times 2, and it's going to be z to the 3 times 2, which is 6. Okay? That's not the answer, because I still have this times z to the 4th. That drops down. And then we're just going to combine our like terms. Oh yeah, that's just kind of like the very first one. How many z's do you have in that one piece? Well, you got a ton of them, right? So those ones kind of smushed together to give me that answer. And I still have that 49, and I still have the w to the 4th. And that's my final answer. Okay? We can make some pretty intense problems this way. Like, they look kind of crazy and kind of weird, but if you know how to add and multiply tiny numbers together, you're going to get these answers. You're going to ace it. Okay? So these are try-its. I'm going to go through them fast, and then we'll call it a day for this lesson, as long as that's okay with you. So anyways, this one's going to be negative 4 to the 3rd, which is negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4, which is 64, but it's negative. X to the 3rd times x to the 5th. Anything we can smush together there? Yes, those ones, x to the 8th. So we get negative 64, x to the 8th. All right, let's skip down to number 3. That's going to be d to the 20 times d to the 3. What do we got in there? We got d to the LeBron James, d to the 23. In case you don't know, LeBron's my favorite basketball player. I like basketball a lot, and football. I'm a wrestler from high school, but basketball and football is probably my favorite too. All right, I'm off track. I apologize. Here we go. Let's do one last problem, and we'll call it a day. Alexander, you got any options there? I got my eye on 5 and 6. They kind of look like the trickiest two. Let's go with number 6. All right, here we go. Number 6 for the last problem of the day. first off, don't get too bent out of shape. Just do that one little easy problem, and then just do that one easy problem, and then after that, piece by piece, we'll push them all together. Okay? So first off, that red one, or excuse me, the green one is going to be. Let me use that red marker. Is going to be 2 to the 5th, which is 2 times 2 5 times, gives me 32. W to the 5th, Z to the 10th. How'd I get that so fast? Really, there's a 1 there. That's 1 times 5. Z 2 times 5. Okay? And over here, let's do this next piece there. That's going to be W squared, Z squared. Right? Let's just throw all our Z's and W's together. There's 5 W's and 2 W's. That makes 7 W's. There's 10 Z's and 2 Z's. That makes 12 Z's. And of course, my 32 didn't smush together with anything. Okay? Final answer. That's kind of a weird looking guy, but we'll go with it. Smiley face. Okay? He's really happy that he solved the answer right. Alright, I think that is end of my instruction for today. Like I said, it's been 20 minutes. I apologize it takes so long, but I just want to really explain in detail and get through a lot of stuff so you have some familiarity with it. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Good luck on the homework assignments. Those are going to be, there's 2 worksheets. There's one really easy one like this. Guess what? 4 to the 4th. Guess what? 4 to the 3rd. Guess what? 2 to the 1 plus 2 plus 2 is 2 to the 5th, right? So those ones will go super easy. If you want to skip to this power of the products, that one's a little bit more tricky, right? Just because it's got more problems, but it's 3 to the 3rd. S to the squared to the 3rd is S to the 6th, and Y to the 15th. How do they get those? I'm multiplying, right? So do as many of those as you can and when you feel comfortable. And we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful day.